The next step, as I'm filling the centers, and this is the last part of dealing with the centerpieces, is I'm going to try to get these guys. So by the end of this, these guys should be in, and I'm going to save these parts, the tips, for the end. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to actually correlate, or I'm going to put in these sides in conjunction with these middle edges. I did exactly the same thing as you recall with the royal pyraminx, this guy over here. So this is going to be the same kind of thing. Now, ideally speaking, the reason why I did that is all the movements that I'm going to be doing shouldn't affect these, because these should have the same stability of the previous centers from the previous puzzles. And to do this, I'm going to actually, again, treat it almost like a volcano cube, and just sort of make movements like this in order to place things. So we'll just kind of pick a layer here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move things so that these inner edges can meet these outer middle edges, outer inner edges, so to speak. So this is already in, and it's just going to take a lot of turning and twisting to make things happen, and this is already in. Now, anytime I move something out, I have to do a crisscross pattern, that same thing of moving it out and then moving something back in. So I'm just going to put everything in here that can be used. If I move this to here, I'm going to solve this red one. So I might as well put other things in that could be useful to me. So I'm going to move these guys out. So that's going to be, as you recall, down. I moved it here. Then I have to move it again within this plane, across, and then up and back. And my purpose for doing that is, notice these remain untouched. So as long as I keep doing that and moving it around like that, I shouldn't affect any of the centers. Okay, so this red can come here. This yellow will actually come here. So we don't necessarily need to get that out unless we just want to fill in as many as possible. And then we can start working on these. So why don't I do that? Why don't I find a wayward yellow that needs to come in here? And I can borrow from what's down here or here. I've got this guy that I can turn around, or I can maybe move this guy down. So maybe that's what I'll do. So I'll go down, and then up, and then up, and down. So it did exchange those. Now, I generally don't try to do too many things at the same time, because it can make things a little more top-heavy. I could move this red one back up here again. So I'm going to go up, up, down, and down. And again, the beauty of this is that I'm not doing anything to these centers. These should still be very stable, these fish bones. So this red will come here, this yellow will come here, and I might not want to push my luck more with that, but this red will come over here. That's pretty good. And I could try to push it here, but I'm not going to do that. So why don't we just do it like that? So move this over here. All right. So upon doing that, these two are in. Of course, I'm going to want to move it back now, but these two are in. All right, once they're in, I'm going to replace them with something else. And I'm going to actually turn this back. Okay, so let's take inventory. Good, 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 good. So everything up here is good. How about all along here? Good, 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 good. Okay, so basically, without destroying our fish bones here, that's good, that's good, that's good, and let's go. Without destroying these, we managed to put all these middle, these inner outer edges and the outer center edges as well. So now what we want to do is we want to start to put in the fish bones here. By doing that, all of our centers should actually be in, and I'm going to do it exactly the same way that we discussed with all of the previous pyraminxes, particularly these guys. Okay, so Let's see if we can do it. This is kind of the fun part because it's really just a question of the same type of crisscross action. So let's start off with the green. We'll do the green and yellow. So let's look for green and yellow. This green and yellow is already in. So I just need the other green and yellows. And I kind of separate the two different species, these guys that articulate with the center and these that do not. So I don't have to, I mean, they articulate with it, but we didn't have to pair them. And when I put them in, I have to do deconstructing by way of different layers, which I'll show you. So this is already in. So where's the other green and orange? And what layer is it in? So here's a green and orange here, and you can see this is at one of the top two layers. So with the top two layers, I can actually move from the bottom. But so this has to come up, but this is upside down. So I'm actually going to move it from the bottom layer here. If I were putting these guys in, I can't separate these two because I took all that work putting those in. I'd have to move it from this layer here. But here, I'm not worried about separating these. And whatever I do, I'm going to just roll it back. So this, I'm just going to roll from the bottom like this. There we go. Like this. Okay. Now, upon positioning it like that, I can see that this actually belongs over here. So that's going to be up, across, down, and back. So now you can see that this is in, and now we're going to move this back over here. So there's a lot of heavy-duty turning. There we go. So let's make absolutely sure we did well. We didn't mess these guys up, but we did put this one in, and we moved it from the bottom, the hardest one to move. Okay, let's find another one. Another green and orange. Here's another green and orange over here. This is this layer over here. So we have to position it perhaps here, but I have to move from both because it's one of the center ones, not one of these edge ones over here. So I'm going to move the whole thing en masse so I don't mess these up, and then this gets moved up over here. So that's going to be up and front, down, and back. So now that's in here, and that's the only change in that strategy is knowing which layers to turn it from. That these guys I can turn from the bottom layer, but anything with the center ones I can't. I have to turn it from a higher layer. So these are in. Last is here, green and yellow. And that's going to be something I'm going to move from the bottom layer, which is, again, going to take a lot of patience. And that's right over here. So to move that, I'm going to move this up. Like so. And then move that in. So across, and we'll say up, back, and down. And then of course move this back down. Like so. Okay, so the end result of that is we have these in, we're getting our fishbone here, and our centers, you can see that we're starting to load in these center parts here as well. All right, next step in our marathon, yellow and blue. So I'm going to move this actually down like this, so that this green and yellow can then come up to here. So we have down, up, up, down. That's good. And then let's move this back like so. And back like so. So what did we do? What did we do? So these are in, these are in, these are in, and all these are in. So slowly but surely, by doing a bunch of combinations and whatnot, we're able to get that in. And I know that it's the case because notice all of these are solved. All of these are in where they need to be, all of our centers, and we have our fishbone. That was among the harder parts I found of the Emperor pyraminx. Now it's just a question of moving these in, and these are moved in the same way that we did with, well, this guy, the straight pyraminx. So starting with the green side, I just have to remember before when I was using this guy over here, if I slice through the head, I had to slice through the body in terms of making it work. Here's what I mean by that. So green, let's find out the greens that need to come in. Here's a green and yellow. So what I'm going to do is I have to move this to the side here. Then I got to move this down to make it work. So turn, turn, turn. Now if I do this right, I'm not going to mess anything up that I've already done, including the middle side. So this is in. And I'm just going to be an opportunist and see whatever greens are there that I need to put in. Here's the right green and blue, green and red, or blue and red rather, so I can go turn, 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 and a turn. All right, so let's see what we did. Good, good, good. Okay, so we have these three sets fine, these three sets fine, so all that's fine. Now we have left to do these guys over here. Oh, seventh inning stretch. Now the problem with that is I have to do these bottom movements, which is going to be a little difficult. So let's find one that's already partially solved. I don't have any. So blue and red. Let's find the blue and red. So I'm going to move this like so. Now is this the correct one? Yeah. Okay, so. Aha. And I substitute with something else. But I kind of like what I already substituted this with, so I'm just going to turn this like so. And turn this like so for the purposes of turning this back. And actually, why don't I turn this twice here? Nope, that's not going to work. Do I have anything here that's going to work? Well, I could put this here because then this yellow and red can come down there. Yeah, that'll work. Maximize my benefits here. And turn it in there. Okay. Move that in here. Now bear in mind, by dividing it into different sections like that, I'm not taking anything out. I'm not destroying the previous step of what I did. All right, so we just have one more exchange that we have to negotiate here. How about we bring this blue and yellow down to here and exchange it with this red. So this will come here, turn, and bring it up. And that solves the caps. Okay, so now we have this. Now we've seen this before. And it's the same strategy. We've seen that with this guy. We've basically, by putting the middle in, we've created this middle. We've deconstructed this middle down to this. And we just have to get these guys in. We also saw that with here when we had to deconstruct this as the middle. So now it's really the same thing, the same algorithm. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is get a bar on each side, and I have none, so this will be interesting and exciting. But as you recall, this algorithm will put this to here, this to here, this to here, this to here, and this to here. So that's not too bad because I'll have a blue one over here, I'll have a green one over here, actually it'll be over here by the end of it. No, I'm sorry, the green one will be over here, I'll have a yellow one here. Now can I maximize benefit with that? Well, if I turn this like so, then this green will be here, this red will be here, and that'll be fine. So as you recall, that algorithm is the R-U, R-I-U, so that's, and you do that 3 times. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 3, 3, 3, 3. And let's move this back to the proper place, like so. All right, so we moved a blue in here. That's pretty good. Got a yellow one in here. Need to move some greens in over here. So this will come here, this will come here, this will come here, this will come here. All right, so we have the right solvable situation. Now it's a question of deconstruction and reconstruction. So this turned over here. I'll just have to remember, this goes to here. This, now we have to move this down here. So far we have these two moving. And now this has to move up here. So this moves here. So I just have to remember that this has to go back here, this has to go back here. So we're kind of doing all clockwise moves. Clockwise here, clockwise there. Hopefully I'll remember that. And this should be a game-solving maneuver here. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, looking good, 3, 3, and 3. Because you recall we had to move this back here, move this over here, and then move this here, and you have yourself a solved Emperor pyraminx. Very nice addition to the pyraminx family. Same kind of strategies, it just has become more of a marathon. So we haven't added any new parity issues or anything like that. It was more just a matter of figuring out what centers are equivalent to previous puzzles, how to put it in, and just kind of going through the process of placing. So with that, I think that probably concludes the pyramidal family tree, as I really don't think they're going to be coming up with anything new under the sun in terms of layers with that. So we will bid a farewell to the fantastic creations made by Timur of the Master, Professor, Royal, and Emperor pyraminx. Good job. Thanks for the hours of fun.